when they refer to the different ages, the Bronze Age, and when they refer to the Stone Age, it's not what the mainstream equates things to as being, primitive people bashing some stones together and making
Neanderthals and stuff,
making things. The stone, the reason why they call it the Stone Age is because everything was made from stone. And it's a technology. It's a manipulation of energy. It's a frequency. Things. If you notice, most of the stuff is made from different quartz composites, and everything is melted. Like all of this stone is melted.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Mystic Gateway Podcast. I nearly said project then for some reason. So I win. I've managed to get Melody to join me on a show. Since I started doing this, I've been asking her when you're coming on the show and she's been like, no. But Melody, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Craig. I'm good.
So anybody that doesn't know Melody, obviously we are together and we've been hanging out together and traveling and doing a lot of stuff, and we're always having really interesting conversation, and Melody's got a lot of perspectives, and every time she says some things I'm like, you need to come on the podcast and talk about that. So I'm hopefully going to try and get some of these things out of her today. But before we do, Melody, why don't you just introduce yourself and where you're from and whatever you want to say. How would you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm a person.
Yes. Well, that's debatable, but carry on.
And I currently live in America. I live in Florida, South Florida, where it's beautiful and it's warm.
Yeah.
As opposed to England, where it's cold.
Well, I'm sweating. You're always freezing, actually. Yeah, I'll be there with like shorts and vests on, sweating. You're there with two hoodies on. It's ridiculous. But yeah, so you're in Florida, which is it's just fantastic out there. Everybody loves Florida, and now you're here in the north of England. Actually, we've had one of the best summers we've had in many years. Obviously, the media's telling us to be scared of climate change, but it's been dry. We do need more rain, but. It's been a really, really good summer, so I'm glad you've got to actually appreciate some decent weather in England. But yeah, I mean, there's many things that we could go into, but you are very much into disclosure. Like, that seems to be like a big passion for you, doesn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's. I guess there's some people that say that they had this awakening, or that they were one thing or they were another thing, and then all of a sudden one day they just woke up and started realizing that something was different, and that there was more. But for me, it's been my whole entire life.
Your whole life?
My whole entire life.
So like you didn't seem to have like you say, a lot of people have like an awakening experience. I mean, I would say I had that where, 10 years ago now, I kind of like just was led into this awareness of the cosmic realms and life in the cosmic realms, and that humans are in the cosmic realms, particularly humans from Earth are in the cosmic realms already, in the galaxy. And that was massive for me, because I was not interested in disclosure. I was never into sci-fi. It was never a thing for me. Like space, wasn't interested. But you say you've always been like that, like even since you were, as long as you can remember.
Little, yeah, ever since I was little. And there was, like with most people when they're when they're here. There's a time that you just kind of ignore things and you just push it, push it.
Usually teenage
aside.
years when you think you know everything.
Yeah, or in the mid-20s for a lot of, or the 20s
Yeah.
is for a lot of people when they just kind of push things aside and just pretend like they're not there. But yeah, no, it's been my whole entire life.
Your whole life. And
Yeah.
what was that like for you? Like when you were younger? Like, were you just interested in the stars? Would you look up and
I would, yeah.
yeah, all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff? Yeah,
I would look up, or the very first memory that I have is I was maybe like 2 years old, is waking up and talking to somebody who was outside of the window, and then going and saying to my parents that there was a man outside, and we were having a conversation, and then my parents are like, "What are you talking about? You're on the," it was like the third floor. It was way too high, and they're like, "What do you mean you're talking to some man?"
That's interesting.
So yeah, that's my very very first memory.
Very earliest memory. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So have you always felt like a connection with the unseen? I guess a lot of us are talking about spirituality. And like there's a whole science element to disclosure, absolutely, but obviously there's a huge spiritual element. Have you always been spiritually minded?
I would say so.
You'd say so, yeah.
Yeah.
And like when you have like an experience like that when you're a little girl or whatever, would you say you've always had this awareness of other beings, and whether it be around you or in the sky or whatever? You've always had that kind of awareness.
Yeah, I've always had that kind of awareness, and
Yeah.
like with most kids, it was not a pleasant experience growing up with that kind of
Right.
awareness.
Right. I mean, it's like the classic peak humanity Hollywood film. Like, there's be some kid that just doesn't fit in, but like it's because there's something special and unique about them. You know what I mean? It's like something. It's horrible, really, when you think about it. Like like kids would hone in on the strange ones and be mean to them and things like that. And I'm not going to ask if that was your experience, but we see that a lot, don't we? With kids, like they pick on the odd ones, the oddballs. Personally, for me, I love the oddballs. Like they're the most fascinating people out there. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for the people with the big platforms per se. I mean, that's fine, but it's the hidden ones I'm really interested in. The ones that have been kind of like not brought to the forefront yet, but they're really walking in stuff, which is why I've got you on, because I know you're walking in stuff. You don't tell me a lot of the time.
No, I don't.
You don't tell me half the stuff that's going on, but stuff's going on all the time. So obviously I only talk because I know you're quite a private person, which I completely respect. And so only sort of disclose what you want to. And but obviously growing up you had these kind of these experiences and things like that. But was there a defining moment where you kind of thought, enough's enough, or just a defining moment in life?
I'm not really sure how to answer that, but I guess the thing that I would say is that I, like a lot of like everybody else, I've been here the whole entire time. I've lived the same life that everybody else has lived here.
Yeah.
And
so you've had the full human experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, that's part of it being here, and that's an interesting question actually, because within disclosure, we have a lot of people that identify as other species and things like that. Some would call it the Starseeds. What's your take on that, if you have one? On the whole,
my take on that?
the Starseed theory. I mean, we talk about this,
Yeah.
and I have my views on things, and you have yours, and many people will have theirs as well. But what does that mean to you, this kind of Starseed theory?
The Starseed theory. Well, it's I don't really know how to answer that either. I think people kind of already know, what a starseed is.
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of my viewers won't. I mean, in my understanding, it's comes from, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I mean I'm not saying I've got it all together, but the concept of a starseed is coming on a soul level from another world.
That's like there's different interpretations, I guess. There's that. There's people who came to help.
Where from?
From different places.
Okay, so we're talking dimensions, planets.
Dimensions, planets, realms.
Right.
You know, there's people who equate to different stars systems that everybody's aware of that came to help. That they're, I guess the primary way you could say it is that their soul, that they're themselves is from somewhere else. And
right. So we're talking about the inner being, like we've incarnated in a human form, but our inner person or our soul, whatever you want to call it, our spirit has connections to other dimensions. And I just want to make something clear, actually. Something that's come up in my time is when we're talking about dimensions, I personally believe that other planets are in other dimensions too, and that there are planets in other dimensions. I mean, I think it was actually Aaron Kuhn's book mentions the infinite universe, and I think that's like creation is infinite.
It is infinite. Yeah.
I mean, we talk about our local solar system. There are trillions of solar systems out there, and that's the ones they've calculated, you know. And I think there is a much larger picture of things that are going on right now. And some people, I can't say I did personally, but I know a lot of people feel a particular, like you just said, an affinity with this particular planet, star system. I'll correct myself on that. I used to look up at Orion's belt all the time, and it used to pull me in. You know, I used to be just like stare at it, because it was kind of obvious to see. Everyone can see Orion's belt in the sky. But I used to look at that, and it used to really sort of, you felt it. Does that make sense? Like you just go, like you feel a connection. And I've never understood that, and I've never really admitted that before, but that's true. Is there anywhere that you felt a connection to personally? And you don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that. Is there somewhere?
There is. Yeah, I would prefer right now not to say where.
Okay. Pleiades. Sorry, what?
That's a whole lot of planets in a whole
That's true.
in a whole entire area. It's not just like a guy somewhere, Craig.
It's true. But I mean, I know some people who have a big problem with the starseed idea. Mostly people from a Christian background, and I understand it. I understand where they're coming from. I'm not on this show saying anything is whatever, and I don't think any of us are. I'm on about journeying in people's perspectives, because I think when we all come together, we create the whole. Like, no one person or group has got the whole answer, and we're just on about asking questions. So some of my friends, particularly in the Christian world, you know, think that the starseed concept is a deception and this and the other, which, you know, it kind of comes with the territory. But then the Bible says about being born from above. You know, that when we're in Christ, we are born from above. Now, where is above? You know, in kind of that train of thought, you would say, oh, well, heaven. But then when you understand that there's no such thing as heaven, it's the heavens, which includes space, it includes all the dimensions of the infinite universe. I'm just hoping that people can open their minds a little bit to the, you know, what if. I'm not saying they are or they're not. I'm not what I'm saying. I'm saying people need to make their mind up and expand their mind into the concepts that some beings or some people in their inner being are connected to certain realms, dimensions, planets, and things like that. And I think that's an idea that we need to get used to. Would you agree?
I would, very, very much so.
Yeah.
And I think that there's some people that it's not just a soul that chose to come here to help that incarnate into a human body. There's some whose actual bodies are not from this place. That were born through the normal incarnation, but that are different.
Are we talking like hybrid type things there, or
No,
no?
no.
So like, how would that work? If like, so, I'm only asking because I'm just trying to understand things myself. So,
Yeah.
a baby's born, or a mother's impregnated,
Hmm.
okay, and she gives birth to a child, but that child isn't human. Is that what you're saying?
In an aspect,
Okay, right.
because human is I would say human is not the, like when somebody says human, that it's not just the people here that are human.
That's a great point. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's
yeah.
there's humans. Human is a lot more of a fluid term than
Yeah.
I think people think of, and I know that probably is a very loaded statement for a lot of people.
It's a really good point to bring up, though, to be honest with you, because, like you say, I mean, so last week I had on the crop circles Alan Foster. If you didn't see that show, watch it. It was really good.
It was really good.
Alan Foster's brilliant, and one of the most profound for me crop circles was it was like a human face, and it was so intricate. Anybody that says that's a hoax is just sorry, but get a grip. But Tyler Koala, actually, I sent him. He messaged me, and he said, because we were talking along the lines of, they're reflecting us humans, and he said he thinks that's whoever did that showing their form, and I'm like, that's really quite possible that there are human-looking entities and beings out in space. They're very similar to us. Is that what we're saying here?
Yeah, it could. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be space there, because there's. It's things are dimensional, things are vibrational, things are energy, and that energy takes a certain form.
Right.
And human is not just the people here.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. It's just reminded me of. Sorry, I often do this, like relate things to things I've heard in the past. But there was always there's a Bible verse, and don't ask me to quote it because I can't remember. But the concept of it is that you would entertain angels without even knowing about them, that they were angels. Now, the word angel, as we know, can be interchangeable for any kind of being. You know, if I fly to America to give you a message, I'm an angel, because angel just means a messenger. Now, if these beings are coming in with messages or things like that, they are an angelic being. Now, we always think of angels as the kind of winged humanoids, and I absolutely believe those exist. You're smiling. Am I getting preachy?
No, go ahead. It's good.
Yeah, so basically, like that. Well, the point I'm making is that, you know, there is a concept there that we would be talking to an angelic being, and we wouldn't have a clue that they were not human, basically. So just to relate it to what you're saying that there are non-human, all right, extraterrestrials who are here in physical form, walking around, and we don't recognise that they're not human. Correct. You were very strong about that. You were committed to that one.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then you could say not just the term extraterrestrial. There's extra dimensionals. There's extra frequencies. There's you know what I mean. There's an all-encompassing term. We could say extraterrestrial just to all-encompass that that term, but there absolutely is.
Yeah.
There absolutely is.
Right. Yeah, and I find this really interesting because, you know, we talk about cryptids and elementals. I mean, like elves. I mean, you look very elven to me. Look, it's an elf. But anyway. But no, you know, some people have that look, and some people have that energy. I've met a few people who have like an elven energy about them. You know what I mean? And they're very elemental. They're very in tune with the earth and the earth's frequency. And they're, you know, what's your perspective on things like? Well, yes, cryptids, but elementals and cryptids. Yeah.
Well, I would say you hit the nail on the head there. There's an energy about somebody. It's everything is energy. We are energy, and there's we have to get away from, I think, that idea that things are solid, or that there's things, because everything is energy. And the reason why you see these different energies in people is because it's all energy.
Interesting.
And there are elementals, there are cryptids, there's inner earth people, there's just all of it, it's energy, it's a frequency.
I know some people will refer to it as densities. I know David Wilcock was big on that, talking about the beings within certain densities, like, you know, the third density, fifth density, which relates to things like 3 dimensions, fourth dimensions, fifth dimensional, and consciousness and things like that. But we, you know, like take Sasquatch for example. I mean, you know, so Melody was a big help with my Sasquatch adventures. I'm obsessed with Sasquatch. I love Sasquatch, and that's a good story.
That is a good story.
Tell them about your Sasquatch encounter. This was before I knew you, but
this is just one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell them all if you want.
Well, it was. Let's see. I was at the Journey to Truth conference, the very first year in.
Is that 23?
I forget.
I think
now.
It was 2023. Yeah.
I'm starting to lose track of years, but it was in Grafton, and it's known in the area for having a strong Sasquatch presence, and I had a room of my own, and I went to bed, and before I went to bed, I felt very, peaceful, loving, very I was just high vibe. Yeah, I was very, very grateful, but it was quiet. Everything was very, very quiet, and usually things aren't so quiet. And I went to bed, and I woke up, and I had I felt like I slept through the entire night, and I was happy, I was joyful, I was relaxed. I was like, wow, I really felt like I slept, which is not normal. When you sense things and you're sleeping in a different place, especially for the very first night, you don't feel that.
Oh, was it the first night? Was it?
It was.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Okay. Right.
No, I'm sorry. No, it was the second night. I'm
Okay,
sorry. Thank
okay.
you. Yeah. It was the second night, and I woke up, and then at the foot of my bed was fruit. It was like about like this, and it was like a purplish kind of looking fruit, and I was like, where did this fruit, and then I said, oh, the Sasquatch left it for me. And I just knew that they had come and talked with me
In the night.
during the night for reasons I wasn't allowed to remember what we had talked about. But they left that for me so that I would know and I would remember. And there was no possible way that this fruit could have gotten into this room. And
Right.
I looked, I looked around, I checked
And
every.
it was clearly on the
It was
floor when
just
you got up in
right,
the morning.
right on the floor, right at the foot of the bed.
And you didn't even know what the fruit was, did you?
I had no idea what this fruit was, and after the conference ended, I decided that I wanted to give the fruit back, that I didn't want to take it with me, and I left apple too. But I went outside, and there was just this peaceful, calm energy. And it was just the most beautiful place, and the sun, was shining. And if you've ever been to Grafton, there's usually just bugs, and there's insects, and there's just, mosquitoes and everything all over the place. But in that span of time, there was just nothing. There was no bugs. There was absolutely nothing. And I left the fruit, and as I left the fruit, I got a flash of who sent it as a confirmation for me, and it was a Sasquatch.
And they gave you a flash in your mind's eye of what
Correct.
they look like.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's amazing. And
Yeah.
I love all these stories. And I think this is going to become more and more common. Certainly, I mean, I've heard many people say it about Sasquatch, that it's time that they want to make contact with us. It's time to come together. And I think that's the same with disclosure, with extraterrestrials. And, beings from other realms, dimensions, planets. It's like all eyes are on Earth at the moment. Would you agree with that?
I would, yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think because this is where the quote battle is being fought. This is where things change, and things change for the better, because we're not doing any of this negative stuff anymore. That has been decided, and there's people who are here that have made the decision from the higher realms, and we're not doing any of this negative shit. It's done. It's done.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear, and I think I'm like a lot of people who agree with you that, you know, we're all having to step up and come into a higher purpose. I think at this time, a lot of people are feeling that. I'm hearing a lot of people saying, like, you know, they've done a phase of life and they're now coming into a new phase of life and things like this, and there's kind of like, it's like all hands on deck right now. Would you agree? Yeah. And a lot of people are getting activations, and kind of like their things that used to motivate them no longer do. It's like their interests are changing, people are evolving, and it's a really interesting time, and people are growing into new territories, and people that have been confined, say, even people that are confined to like the Christian world, say, they're going to go mainstream. It's like they're carrying something not just for, you know, a church or Christians. They're moving into a bigger sphere of influence because of they're carrying something authentic and real. And I think that's really a lot of people are being asked to step up right now.
I would agree. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are being asked to step up. And you know, this is not to say that, not to put myself in any kind of position, but I always knew that I wasn't going to be called in unless I was needed. And almost 2 years ago now, I got called in.
You got called in?
Yeah, I got called in. I got called up, and I was told you have to step up. And it's
so you realise you're saying a lot here, don't you?
Yeah.
And I know you're a private person.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to probe disrespectfully, but you've got to tell me more.
Yeah. No, it was yeah, because I always said, if you know, call me in if you need me. You know, I'm here, and I got called up, and I got called into the higher realms, if you want to say, and I was told it's time, and you need to come forward, and you're here for a reason. And it took two years.
2 years. 2 years. I mean, that coincides with the time when you met.
About, yeah.
So, you know what I mean?
About.
I'm just being silly. No, that's really interesting, and you know, I mean, it's not easy, is it? I mean, I'll be honest with you, doing this podcast has been extremely uncomfortable, because I think it's hard to put yourself out there. I mean, you know, a lot of introverted people find this very hard to. It almost feels like self-promotion, but it's not. Like, it's doing something uncomfortable is actually very rewarding, and I get so much satisfaction from doing this show. The conversations I'm having, the new connections I'm making, and I've had very little resistance, to be honest with you. And this is why I've been saying, like, come on the show, because, like, I know you've got loads to say, and I know you struggle with it, but it's hard, isn't it? It's not easy. It's not easy, because
without getting into too many personal details, I have had to protect myself for an extremely long time.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're undercover, when you're in like deep undercover, and then it's time to not be. It's
uncomfortable.
It's an uncomfortable feeling.
I totally get it. Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, you know, a lot of people have been hidden. I think a lot of very people with very. Everyone's got a high calling. Don't get me wrong. Like, everyone's here with a mission. Everyone's here with a purpose and a destiny. I'm a big believer in that. Everybody needs to be activated. Some people, I believe, have been hidden to be trained, prepared, made ready, and I really, really feel strongly that now's the time for them to come out of that and step up and do what they're here to do. Yeah, you agree?
I do.
She agrees.
I do.
Good. No, that's brilliant. So we've spoken elementals. Sorry, I just kicked the.
You just kicked the desk.
Whoa, we're doing
Look,
Star
there's
Trek.
that little spot, but it's not an orb.
Oh no, it's a reflection of my crystally things in the window. We could claim it's an orb and go viral. Ooh. But something else I wanted to ask you as well was because I am, we joke that like I'm very, I feel very grounded in this body and in this earth. Like I'm, I love ascension prayer. I love going higher. I love meditation, setting your mind on things above. I do that. I actively practice that. I think some people struggle to be in this body, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And in this life. I mean, I felt that. Don't get me wrong. I have felt that too. Like I look at the systems, and I'm just like, why do we have to go to work to make money? That doesn't make sense. Things like that. Why do we need money? What's that? Why is that even a thing? I do question stuff like that. Like it like just grates my soul. Mm-hmm. But like, would you give any advice to people who like find it hard to be here? Because there are a lot of people who it's it's hard being in this reality and in this body and in and I mean. It's a horrible topic, but this is why a lot of people take their own lives.
It is, yeah.
Because they're just like, I don't feel right here. Do you think that we were talking about starseeds earlier, and do you think a lot of people who are souls from other realms and other dimensions just don't integrate into human form very well?
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of difficulty for a lot of people, and I think one of the things that you have to kind of understand or come to terms with is that it's okay to be uncomfortable. That there's just daily aspects when you feel everything, it can become a very overwhelming thing, and you have to just learn that it's okay to be uncomfortable. And I know, like with myself, I've had to go on to a very strict diet in order to be healthy. I've had to learn different kinds of energy management tools, and you have to clear your energy constantly. You have to. You have to just learn what you need to do in order to be calm, but not take it to an extreme where it becomes like a weird thing,
like an obsession type thing. Yeah.
And that's a challenge. That is.
If you don't mind going into it, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But would you explain the food thing
a
bit
food
more?
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You struggle with food, don't you?
Yeah. I struggle greatly with food, and it's what it comes down to is it's the frequency of the food here.
Right.
I'm so sensitive to the point where I could eat one thing and then the next week I couldn't eat it because of the wheat from that particular batch was grown on land where the frequency was a lower frequency. I can feel the frequency of where the wheat was grown on.
Right.
But I can't eat wheat. But
yeah.
But it's down to that just being that.
But it's been a journey for you, hasn't it? Like a trial and error process, hasn't it? Like you'd eat something, you'd have a bad reaction. Was it physical reaction?
Yeah, physical,
emotional,
energetic, emotional. The food in this realm is in a horrendous state, and I would say that's been a passion of mine because it's so personally impacting.
You are like my personal nutritionist, which is great. Like if I have like an ailment or something, you've got like I've got this supplement,
Well, it's the unfortunate thing that I just can't eat food. I have to have supplements.
Right.
And then you figure the supplements out, and then he works different kinds of foods in. But there's a very real physical reaction within my body, and then there's an energetic reaction, then there's an emotional reaction,
right.
And I had because there was years where I just couldn't, I was like, well, I don't understand what this is, or why do I have to do this? Why can't I just be like everybody else and just go out to eat? So I would say, well, I could just have a little bit, or things, but I had to decide, do I want to be healthy or do I want to be sick? And I chose being healthy, and it's very uncomfortable. It's an embarrassment to be honest.
Right.
But as your energy progresses and it gets higher, you're most people, I would say, are going to find that they're not going to be able to function in the same manner that they were able to function in previously. And that's because the systems of this planet, of this realm, have not caught up to the frequency and the energy that everybody is moving towards.
I agree.
Yeah.
I also think on top of that the cleanup operation that's going on the planet right now is going to raise the frequency of the foods and just general living for everybody. Like I'm not to get political about it or anything like that, but like the fact that RFK Jr. is his whole purpose is to make America healthy again. Because I mean, when I come to America, obviously I was there for 3 weeks and I put so much weight on. It's ridiculous, and I couldn't buy chicken that wasn't bleached. And we're not perfect in the UK by any stretch, but like America's bad. Like the food is bad there. It's terrible. I'm sorry to say, my American friends, it's really bad. And particularly in Europe, we've got it a bit better. Apparently Italy, their food, like everything's fresh and organic there. That's just what their food is. They've managed to maintain that. And here we have processed stuff, but I mean, you can eat a few more things here, can't you? When you're over. A few more
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's been times that I've had those few more things, and then I've been okay, or it goes too far, or this one restaurant, the guy who cooked it was having a bad day, and
you can feel you can feel the energy of the chef on the food. It's
not a great setup.
So there's going to be a market out there for you could call it like Disclosure Cafe or something, or Ascension, restaurant. And the chef has to go through like a clearing before he does all the food and do all this energy work. Have sage on everything. And
well,
I'm not taking the big, by the way.
We're laughing about that, but that's how these so-called elites. That's how they eat their food.
Emphasize that point. Say that again. Sorry.
That's how these so-called elites.
The parasites. Yeah.
That's how they.
They eat the high frequency food.
That's how they eat their food. They eat the high frequency food. They're everybody always hears these stories about this certain celebrity or this person or this whatever says that they'll only eat strawberries from this region and they have to have them flown in, or the chef has to do a certain thing in order, has to cut it a certain way, or has to can't come into work if they're having a bad day, and people equate it to just being an eccentric person
or a diva,
or look at these rich people, they're just spending all this money on this food that's being flown in from all these regions, or they drink water that's flown in from a certain spring up in the Alps, and it has nothing to do with being an eccentric person. It has nothing to do with just having a lot of money and wanting to spend it on something. It's frequency, it's energy, it's the way you cut the food has a certain energy pattern, and when you consume it, you're consuming the energy. And again, it comes down to energy. It comes down to frequency. Everything is energy. Everything is frequency. When I see the tea rituals in the Japanese culture, where the woman has to pour it from a certain side, stir in a certain manner, has to prepare it in a certain fashion. It's because it's not just a ritual. It's an energy process that is being imbued within the food.
Interesting. Sounds like a lot of hard work to me.
It is, but
that's the difference there.
Yeah.
I'm just like, give me a nice steak and kidney pudding. You know what I mean?
but it's these things that we have forgotten about,
Right.
that certain people haven't, and it's not that hard if we were living the way that we were supposed to be living.
Right.
You know, again, everything is energy, everything is frequency.
Because you talk a lot about, and this is something I'm glad we're just getting into this now. We go a lot of places, and we both love nature, but I like taking you to places where, you know, there's mountains, and I like Cumbria, which is just an hour or so north from where we are. We go walking in the Lake District and things like that. I mean, it's so scenic and so beautiful.
I love Cumbria.
Yeah, you do love Cumbria. But you're always saying things like, oh, it's just, you know, like the hills and stuff, oh, it's just things covered in dirt. And I've tried to get at you, like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Now, so a point I actually want to make at this point is about Gnosis. So Gnosis is a phenomenon where people just know things. It's happened all throughout history, and it reminds me of the scene in The Matrix where he says, "I know kung fu." Like they put it in his brain, boom, he can just do kung fu. Gnosis is a spiritual supernatural phenomenon where people will have, we call it downloads. We just have spontaneous knowledge of something. I'm getting a click in my ear as I'm doing this. This is a very, very real phenomena. I think everybody functions in this. Everybody gets this. Some people don't even recognize it. They think, "Oh, I've just had an idea," or, "Oh yeah, I've never thought of that before." You know, in their own mind. Actually, you are either tapping into higher realms. There might be a being who's telepathically communicating something to you. It can be a number of things, but Gnosis is very real. And you get Gnosis a lot, don't you?
I do. Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll say something, I'm like, "How do you know that?" And you're like, "I don't know, but I just do." So some of the things that we say now, where we're going to go into, I said this as a caveat, that a lot of things has come through Gnosis. Now, we're not saying this is absolute fact, you know, provable by this document on this date. It's just like, we're just theorising, we're just playing with ideas, aren't we? But with a higher perspective, and I mean, you're looking at me now like you're angry, but
no, I'm not. I'm not angry.
No, just like what I'm trying to say is what, you know, it's kind of a disclaimer that, like, we're not saying this is absolute fact and we've got it all figured out, but we need to be open to these ideas that there are that we are channeling all the time. We're channeling higher realms, higher dimensions, and as it might be a bit of a woo word for some people, but everyone's doing it all the time.
Yeah, I would be careful with the channeling term.
Yeah. Okay.
Or other beings telling you things.
Okay.
Per perspective, I don't think that's the.
Well, I mean, in my experience, like things like angels will come and communicate. Like the angelic will bring messages, and it's not always like appearing in a big ethereal form and communicating verbally. You know, I think what I'm trying to say is when you open yourself up to higher realms and stuff, and you access, you know, and you're going accessing higher things, you will get information. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
But it's up to you to decide if you want to to accept that information or not. It's like you telling me something.
If I tell you, it's going to be correct. But yeah, go on.
I don't have to agree with it. I don't have to.
Which would make you wrong, but
there's a difference between that and I think of gnosis and knowing.
Yeah.
When you know something, you know something. When somebody tells you something, somebody's telling you something.
Okay. So getting into it now then, like this whole thing of things covered in dirt. Now, what I'm going to do is, as we talk about this, we recently went to the North Yorkshire Moors. It was North Yorkshire Moors. We just went stone circle finding, basically.
We went to the 12 Apostles.
The 12 Apostles stone circle. So you park up on the main road, and it's about 1.5 mile walk to the stone circle. It's not a massive one, not massive stones or anything like that, but it was. Anybody been to the Yorkshire Moors before? It's very, very open, very, very desolate. Not much there, but there was this pathway that led to the 12 Apostles stone circle. And on the way there were these huge boulders, stones, which people were walking around, people will walk past all the time. we were there, and for the first time, I finally could see what you were talking about, because you say a lot of times things are covered in dirt, or you talk about melted rock.
Mm-hmm.
Could you explain that a little bit?
Melted rock. Well, everything is melted.
Everything is melted.
Everything is melted. The things that you see around, because I guess there's a big topic there with that, and there's a lot of back conversation to this.
So we're talking about like in the ancient times, aren't we? Like the ancient world. And you say this a lot, that the ancient world were not primitive.
No.
They weren't
No,
unsophisticated.
Yeah.
In fact, I've done a number of shows on this as well. Like Mariah Wheatley said the same thing recently.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were talking about stone circles. And when you look at the stone circles, I mean, just look at the pyramids, for goodness sake. You know, like the calculations and the alignments with the stars. And like these were not primitive cultures, and that's fairly modern cultures from what we're talking about.
From what we're talking about, but I guess kind of the way to start with that is when they refer to the different ages, the Bronze Age, and when they refer to the Stone Age, it's not what the mainstream equates things to as being, primitive people bashing some stones together and making
Neanderthals and stuff,
making things. The stone. The reason why they call it the Stone Age is because everything was made from stone, and it's a technology. It's a manipulation of energy. It's a frequency. Things. If you notice, most of the stuff is made from different quartz composites, and everything is melted. Like all of this stone is melted, and.
So just to be clear then, so we're you go to a landscape. In fact, one of the places that reminds me of is like the Grand Canyon, Arizona. I know Tyler sends me pictures, and it's almost like it looks like a city. The rock looks like a city,
And it's a melted city,
right?
And the like you can see this in the places like Petra, where the they'll have these beautiful carvings in the sides of these cliffs, and then everybody kind of just looks at it, or the mainstream does, and they see, like, why would they, they carved this doorway, and then they have these beautiful carvings into these cliffs, and then it goes down. But if you look up, what it is it's this melted coming down, and what you see as the intricate carving that they carved into the side of this rock is the part that's left from the melted function. And the reason why the doorway is closed is because it's a dimensional thing. It's an energy thing. It's a frequency thing.
So as with many people say, like again, the stone circle shows stone carries a frequency. This is why they would use the stones to create the circle, which would create like a magnetic anomaly that some people theorize there'd be portals created and things like that. So you're saying that the stone itself carries an energy, a frequency that an ancient civilization knew how to utilize it.
That's the part of it, yeah.
Now, would you say these were humans?
That's an interesting question. Like I said, there's what people won't like this answer, but what is human?
Right.
But there's these. If you look around, everything is visible. Everything is there, and people have been taught to see things as just rocks laying in a field, or not to notice the melted function at the top of the rock, and then hills are not always hills,
right?
There's when the rock melted, a lot of it turned into dirt.
Right.
And where did this mud flood come from?
The mud flood, right? So
that's a whole nother topic.
Right.
But
you need to do another show then and talk all about it.
Just where did the mud come from?
So just for people who might not know what you're referencing there, the mud flood is this idea that You'll explain it better than I will. What was the mud flood?
Well, the mud flood is that there was a flood of mud.
Mm-hmm.
That there was an ancient civilization that was covered up with a flood of mud.
Right.
And
was this ancient or was this fairly modern?
see, I think that we have to change our perspective of what time is, because
Just to blow my mind even more, yeah.
yeah, there's what things didn't happen as long ago as people say that they happened.
Right.
And according to what the quote mainstream stuff is. And because if like you could say rock for example, right? There's different weathering patterns, and there's different kinds of things. But who's to say that the melting didn't change would change what you would see the weathering as? Like they would say was erosion from water, and there's different sciences, and I'm not saying that I'm a geologist, but if you melted it, would that change your perspective of how long ago something was? With the water erosion.
So what I'm going to do at this point
Yeah.
is I'm going to put on the screen some pictures that we took of this, because it was the best example I've ever seen of what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I said this a lot. So we found these boulders, and I'll put them on the screen now, and I've never seen rock like it. I probably have, but just never thought about it. And I saw this, I'm like, that's actually melted rock. Like you could see it was melted. And I'm like, that's astounding. Like that's not wind erosion.
It's not. No.
Wind erosion wouldn't cause the pattern of the rock to do that. But the question now is, what the heck melted rock?
That's the question.
Do you want to go into that? Your view, your opinion?
Oh, that's a huge topic.
It is a huge topic, but
Yeah.
we've got time.
Yeah, no, not that much time. No.
Well, in a nutshell, from what I understand from things you've told me, is that there's been, we talk about ancient civilizations were a lot more advanced than we are in this day and age, technologically, spiritually, and there was open contact with multiple dimensional species. The disclosure is not a new thing. It's
not a new
it's
thing.
about recovering things
Yeah.
that have always been on this planet.
Yeah.
I think it's only when I say recently, over the last couple of centuries, not even that humans haven't had a concept of interdimensionals, ultradimensionals, hyperdimensionals, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them, all of the above. We live in a very unique time in history, which is why this stuff is popping so dramatically. So I say all that because, we even talk about the pre-Adamites. Would you agree with where I'm going with this? That there was a lot of species on this planet before humans ever came here. So science, there's debate. So modern science says that humans appeared around 200,000 to 300,000 years ago in our current form, which basically, by the way, flies in the face of evolution, because we should have, according to their calculations, when I say evolution, you understand Darwinism. Of course, things evolve, but what I mean is, flies in the face of Darwinism. So the planet is millions, billions of years old. And there's been life and things on this planet for a very, very long time. And this might press on some religious people's opinions. The Earth is a lot older than 6,000 years old. Let me just say that. I'm not a New Earth creationist by any stretch. But there are, I think, a lot of biblical texts, if you want to go down that route, are talking about things before humans were ever here.
Well, when they say the restoration of all things, that's what are you restoring? You're restoring something that already was.
Correct. Exactly. So the restoration of all things. Great point.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about the restoration of all things. It's a biblical term that all things are going to be restored to their previous glory. So what was the glory that they were previously at? Is what we're saying, right?
I think that's an important thing that people need to think about. That's kind of glossed over and isn't really given the time that the
attention that it deserves.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So what we're saying is we're restoring it to a previous existence, the planet, the cosmos, everything, to a previous existence that was perfection, that was wonderful, that was high frequency, whatever you want to call it, heaven on earth and beyond. That's the mission for all of us in this day and age. Would you agree?
It's a big part of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my point is that there are species who have been coming to this planet a lot longer than humans have. I mean, I'm just going to go there because it's my show and I can say what I want. Apparently the reptilians lay claim to this planet because they say they were here before us, and that they say that we're the parasites. I've heard people talk about that, but I mean that's a whole new topic for another day. But I love having these conversations. It's good, isn't it? This is basically what we talk about.
It's good to have these conversations, and we talk about so many different things. I know we're kind of jumping around with this, and it's not a concise example of views or things that. No, it's
a snapshot, isn't it?
It's a snapshot.
And for me, I like to just theorize and just think about possibilities, and when I talk with you and stuff, and with anybody, any of the guests I have on the show as well, it's like we're just expanding the conversation. Like anybody that thinks they've got it all figured out don't have anything figured out, in my opinion. We can all have our expertise. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you think that's all there is, then we need to do better than that, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah. So I think I hope we've given some info for people to start considering. But there's one more thing I wanted to speak to you about before we draw it to a close. Was dragons. Dragons. I know you like your dragons, don't you?
Everybody loves dragons.
And whenever we go down to South Wales, and you see there's a massive what would you call it, like a monument of the Welsh dragon, and you always say to me, "Oh, the Welsh dragon, he's a nice guy."
He is a nice.
And
guy.
I just let it go, but it goes in, and like, so you've met the Welsh dragon. I'm not going to ask you to say what happened or anything like that, but you have a thing with dragons, is that right?
I do.
You do.
I do.
Are you that woman from Game of Thrones?
Yes.
I forgot her name. I watched Daenerys, that's it. So I watched one season of Game of Thrones, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. When Sean Bean got popped off, I was like, that's it, that's enough for me. Never watched another one. I'm not having that. But no, dragons. I mean, so in my upbringing and things, dragons were related to reptilians, dragons. It was classed as bad, evil, something to fight. That sort of thing, and I've been learning that's just not the case.
Yeah, dragons and reptilians are two completely different things.
Exactly.
Just because you see scales does not mean that it's a reptile.
Side note as well, again, I don't have personal. Just saying what I've heard people say. Not all reptilian species are negative either. I believe.
Correct.
That's something that we need to.
It's like saying all people, are all humans. Everybody is evil. No.
Yeah, it's not the case. No, so we need to get over that one as well. But so dragons, yeah. So what can you tell me about them, if anything?
About dragons?
Dragons. So, dragons are all, particularly in this country, dragons are a big part of our lore. Mm-hmm. Lore, not Law. Our folklore, full of dragons, and St. George and the Dragon is the patron saint of England and things like that. Huge part of our history, but what happened? Where have they gone? Who are they?
You could ask, where did the fairies go? Where did the elves go?
Yeah.
Where did the different kinds of cryptids go? Mm-hmm. Nobody actually left.
Right.
Some things just went quiet. And there's the dragons are back now.
They're back.
Yeah, and that's why things are different. It's because they're back and they're paying attention.
Okay, so So I got a chill. So the dragons then. So they are. So someone I know said that dragons are neutral. They're not good or bad. They will just work with you. Would you agree with that?
I would say that they're their own beings,
Okay.
and they make their own decisions as they see fit.
Okay.
They're not a subservient race. They're not here to. Dragons are creation. They're a huge part of what creation is,
Right.
and they're a very special part of creation, and they will help you if you ask and you're not doing terrible things.
Well, I know some Christian mystics who excuse me, who work with dragons, and I've never necessarily heard them speak too publicly about this, because quite frankly, it would upset a lot of people. But I think we're getting to the point where we need to get over that. Mm-hmm. But it's an interesting concept. And would you go into a little bit? So you were here in England last year, and obviously the town I'm in, it's not a great place.
It's not a great place.
It's not a great place.
It's not a great place, no.
I think so. Yeah, last year you were here in the summer. You went home for a bit, and then you came back for effectively the winter. Mm-hmm. And when you came back, there was things on the prom. But do you want to tell the story? Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yeah.
So what you did and what happened?
Yeah. Do you want to see where you live? Is that okay?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm in Blackpool.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
So it's the Blackpool Illuminations, which I am not a fan of that particular ritual. But they have like the different illuminations, and
it's world famous, by the way. People come from all over the world to see. Yeah. It's called the Golden Mile, and all along our promenade we have these illuminations. It's just like lights all along the promenade, basically. But go on, sorry.
Yep. And and then I came back, and they had the dragons. There were big light dragons, and there were 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And they were right in front of the Blackpool Tower, mm-hmm. and then they part of the illumination show was they had like dragons flying around the Blackpool Tower, mm-hmm. and before I left.
So this was the first time you were here last summer?
This was the first time I was here last summer. Mm-hmm. One of the last things that we did was we went up to the Blackpool Tower, mm-hmm. and I did a huge clearing there, and I called the dragons in to help and to assist mm-hmm. with things, and I came back and they were there they were.
So basically there was a natural I guess you could call it a synchronicity mm-hmm. of something that went on in the spirit realm, mm-hmm. and I love stuff like that. I remember when you came back, you were blown away. Like you saw those dragons, mm-hmm. and you were just like, "What?" Like it was profound.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been many times that I've asked the dragons to come, and then they have come.
Yeah.
And that was just another. It was a physical reminder. You could say, of a representation of something that was happening in a different realm.
Kind of puts a spin on things that, like, if we have an argument, I don't want you calling the dragons on me. That's a joke. A bad one.
It's a bad one.
Oh dear me. So, would you encourage people to start engaging that realm, or is it, how does it work?
No.
No. Is it intense?
No. Yeah, I would not, unless it's a part of who you are, mm-hmm. as a being here. No.
Right.
No, don't.
And would you class them as part of the elementals, like, category?
A different part, but you could maybe you could make some classifications there, but
yeah.
It's a whole new ball game, the dragons.
Honestly, I'm getting so many shifts in my ear as we're talking about this. Yeah, loads.
Some of them have incarnated.
Some of them have incarnated.
Yeah, so you'll know who.
Disclosure. I love, I mean, since being a kid, and we're going to finish with this, by the way. Since being a kid, I was always fascinated with this idea of other beings that, like, even though I'm in this material world, that there are other beings stood in, like, even though I can't see them, I know they're here. And, I fortunately was in a Christian denomination that allowed for, like, the angelic. Again, that's a very, very broad title. Just there are many different species, many different beings of all different kinds, of lion beings and reptile beings, dragon beings. There's all sorts in other dimensions. Then it's all around us all the time. But I love it when we go out into, like, forests and into nature, because I'm a nature man. I love nature. I was never a spaceman. I was always a nature man. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just, I feel at home in nature, and that's what I love about the Celtic tradition. They're very much in tune with nature, and they were very much in tune with the elementals as well. And I know some people laugh, maybe not my viewers, but, like, when we're talking about the reality of elves, mm-hmm. and basically Lord of the Rings type creatures. There are small elemental beings
Those little guys.
Little guys. Oh,
you can tell your story.
Tell my story.
My story. Yeah.
So
about the little people that came.
Yeah, the little people. So, again, I'm salt of the earth kind of thing. It was last year, wasn't it? When you were here last year?
Yeah, it was when I was here last.
I went to this gym, and I used to have it was a bit colder and it was wet often in England, as it always is. I used to wear, like, this hoodie thing, and whilst I would cycle to the gym, and just there was, like, a private place, a secure place I could put my bike. It was inside the gym. It was fine. And I put my bike there, and I used to take my hoodie off and just hook it over the handlebars, and there was a camera on it, security camera, so it was perfectly safe, perfectly fine. It was early morning, so there wasn't many people there. And what I'd do is often my keys were just in the zipped up pocket of this hoodie thing. Anyway, one time I went there and I cycled home, and I noticed there was a key. When I came back to put my bike in the garage, I got my keys out. I noticed there was a key missing. It was the key to the front door to where I live, like a block of apartments where I live. And I was like, that's impossible. Like, someone must have gone in, and you had to, like the key rings, you have to unhook it, like
mm-hmm.
take it off. Like, someone must have taken my key off, front door key. Like, that's ridiculous. And I asked the guy to look at the security cameras. There was nothing or anything like that. But this key, I'm thinking, surely it hasn't accidentally, like, come off the key hoop. I went through all these scenarios, and I was like, what happened there?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I told Melody, I've lost my key. I don't have a clue where it's gone. And what did you say to me?
I said that the little people took it, and if you go and if you bring them something and tell them that it's an important key, and that you leave that, and ask for the key back, that they will give your key back.
Okay, so then I think it was a couple of days after. So I'd had a couple of days without this key. I had like a screw, right? I had a screw. And I took this screw to the gym, right? In my pocket. I was like, what am I doing? And I saw like, in this gym, guys pumping out, like, I'm there like, I was going to talk to the little people, like a complete idiot. So anyway, I put this screw in the corner where my bike was, right? And I just said, I really need that key back. It's like the only key I've got to the front door, to the apartments and things like that. Thank you, but I need it back. And I just left it. And I think it was 2 days later. So I've been to the gym. Bear in mind, all this time, every day I cycle, I'm putting my bike in my garage. And so I'm going in and out. Anyway, 2 days after I did that, one morning, I go down to get my bike out of the garage to go to the gym again. And I look down, in front of my garage is the key. And I was like, no.
Right in the front, in front of where you go to
right in front,
lock.
where I've been going in and out of for days. And I had a look at it. I was like, never, no way. So I picked it up and went and tried it, and it was the key to the front of the apartments. Mm-hmm. The little people had come and put it somewhere I was going to find it. I was blown away. I was just like, what the heck just happened?
And they brought your key back.
They brought my key back.
Somebody was having fun.
Yeah, somebody was just messing around. So this was probably not long after we probably went somewhere and probably engaged. Because we do a lot of, when we go places, we're engaging things. And, you know, they probably just followed us home and had a laugh. I don't know what they're doing, but what a way to end a show, eh? Melody, have you got anything else you want to say?
You didn't ask where people can find me, Craig.
I was just about to ask that. Where can people find you, Melody?
I have a Facebook page. That's it.
That's it, Facebook page. Okay. And are you open to people, like, friending requesting you?
People can friend
Just
request.
don't be weird. Don't be weird. You know, if you're going to friend request, don't be sending messages like, hey, baby. Like some people do. And that's the women.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, right, well, thank you for joining us, Melody. I'm so glad you finally joined me. I will have you on again when you want to.
Okay.
There's always interesting things to say, but
We'll see if there's more better interesting things to say and to talk about.
That was an introductory. We have some really out there conversations and things, and talk about a lot of things and new things that come up. I mean, we didn't really get into disclosure that much today, I would love. You've got great perspectives on disclosure, things that are happening in the world, in the disclosure community, so we can get into that another time. But for now, thank you for joining me, Melody.
Yeah, thank you. Uncomfortable introductions over.
That's it. You broke the ice now. That's it. The global superstar. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.